Joining us is I'm not sure of his specific title, but he is the leader of the movement Birds.
I'm the public information officer for Birds Aren't Real.
The public information officer for Birds Aren't Real, Peter McIndoe. Peter, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'd like to ask you, before you control the narrative in this conversation, why are you having me on the show? I know you. I looked you up. I Googled you. I know you're with the media. So why do you?
Well,
you have me on your show to laugh at me?
No. We had it.
Bringing the bird guy on the show to laugh at him?
No, not bringing you on to laugh at you, Peter. Honestly, there's no reason for you to be that defensive. Brought you on because this week we did have a writer on talking about who had done an extensive book on people who believe in the flat Earth theory. And I thought it might be a good follow-up to have someone on who believes in another theory. And that theory, I'll give you a full opportunity to discuss what that theory is.
I mean, folks, you see how the media does it, you know? You see, I would have preferred maybe to be compared to, hey, look at Guggenheim, who made progressions with the atom, you know? Here's people in history who have done important things. Here's revolutionaries, George Washington. Ever heard of John Adams? But no, I get compared to the flat Earth, the people who believe the Earth is flat.
Okay, all right, that's a fair critique.
I just want people watching this to see how they do it. They put me up next to the flat Earth people, and then they have me talk.
Okay, that's a fair critique. I am sorry about that. I will let you. I don't know what controversial theory that Sam Adams had, or John Adams, or George.
Time was very controversial. It was set freedom. That was the name he had. It was very controversial at the time. The Times weren't with it, but you know what he did? He went. He stormed the British gates. He had no fear, and he took over and made the United Land of America. And that was controversial at the time. Well, what I'm doing is controversial, but frankly,
I understand. But I mean, to be fair, Peter, like there's the idea that you're both controversial is not, I think, a fair comparison. He was controversial because he had an opinion and an ideology, but you are making some factual assertions that, and why don't you tell people what those factual assertions are? I mean, there's no reason to be this combative.
Okay, I just know how the establishment lib media works. Okay, I know you and Al Roker and Chris Cuomo and your big establishment buddies are all hanging out, laughing at the little guy. So, you know, I'm not trying to come on combative. I looked you up. I know that you're with the Turks, the Young Turks. I'm just being cautious. Being cautious. I want to share my ideas. To be quiet. I mean, I don't want to come on your show defensive. I'm sorry.
We can play a clip of. Can we play the clip, please? This is a clip of you. We can do the one from when you were on television on a local station, or we can do here. This is from live, like 3. What channel 3? Channel 3. Where is this channel? Okay. Well, let's just play it.
Consider myself to be an average American. I wake up in the morning, wash my car, and I have an avid disbelief in avian beings.
Maybe you've seen the billboard near the Highland Strip or heard the story on Wednesdays Live at 9. A campaign called Birds Are Not Real brings its efforts to the Mid-South.
And this morning we are joined by one of the messengers of the movement. Peter McIndoe is here to tell us how this all came about. We want to emphasize you were not the founder.
No, ma'am. We put the billboard here because we wanted to bring it to the biggest city in the world, you know, the Paris of the West. So we brought it to Memphis, Tennessee. From 1959 through 2001, the government mercilessly genocided over 12 billion birds and simultaneously replaced them with surveillance drones in disguise. Sometimes I'll travel internationally, go to the Himalayas, just to breathe the drone-free air.
So this is really satire. I mean, you don't really believe that that happened, correct? This is a satirical campaign to make the point that what? You're looking at me like, no, it's not satire. I really do believe this.
Honestly, it's kind of offensive.
Okay.
We do not find this to be a humorous issue.
Let's okay. So there it is. There's so your assertion is that the United States government has killed all the birds and replaced them with drones. Is that right?
That's right. And as you can see, I've had some bad experiences with the media, you know? So that's where my defensiveness comes from. I'm often brought on to be laughed at. So just coming on with my guard up. But yeah, that is what our movement stands for. If you really want to know, we talk about how the United States government wiped out 12 billion birds. They extinguished them and whisked them out like a light bulb. And well, they had crop dusting airplanes. I mean, if you really want to get into the facts, people can look this up, and this is not information that the media usually wants out there. So Sam, thanks for giving the platform. Frankly, a lot of your viewers, I know a lot of you are on YouTube looking for truth, like a lot of us. I am too. But the real truth can be found in documents and tapes that only I have access to, along with a couple other people, unfortunately, that reveal that the United States government launched crop dusting airplanes across the United States.
Wait a second. Why do you have access to these documents and only a few other people? Why don't you release these documents?
I mean, these documents we have released some. We released the Poultrygate email leak of early 2021, where huge Hollywood elites, politicians, ever heard of Ted Cruz, were involved in the bird drone surveillance crisis. It revealed a lot. It revealed that they're hollowing out the mountains around America and putting drone factories inside the hollowed out mountains. Hollywood elites were involved in the making of the drone factories inside the mountains. I don't know if you're familiar with, some would say America's greatest renovator named Ty Pennington from Extreme Home Makeover. The United States government consulted him to renovate the insides of most mountains in America, renovate them out and turn them into drone surveillance factories. And if people would turn off their freaking TVs and stop watching these freaking talking heads and actually look into, the actual research, if you start asking why a couple times, things start falling apart, real quick with the whole bird.
Let me ask, why would you have a drone factory inside a mountain? Why wouldn't you just have it in a drone factory?
Well, you see, Sam, because if you were to have massive bird drone factories with workers out in public, we're making 12 billion drones here. That's a lot of drones, and that's how many drones.
Don't you need workers in mountains, in the hollowed out mountains? Isn't it workers doing it in the hollowed out mountains? What difference does it make if it's in a factory or a hollowed out mountain factory?
A lot of land space. It takes an incredible amount of land mass. To make one bird drone, it takes, roughly 10 by 10 yards for the machinery required. So we're talking. Imagine if you hollowed out the Appalachian Mountains, truly.